So my comic, Alphas of the Kingdom, is about Harp navigating her love life. I'm not going to spill the whole story, but I will be talking about the lore of the story and the stuff that's not explained in the comic or book. So the kingdom that the comic and book are set in is the main kingdom and the largest in the world. This is the Alphas kingdom, hence why most of the characters are Alphas. But due to it being the largest kingdom, multiple other species, such as the Uus or Pixies, live there as well. The monarchy is in charge of everything that goes on in the kingdom and have semi-control over the kingdoms around them. Currently, in the time of the comic and book, the queen has 3 sons. The heir will automatically be the oldest son. Someone who is not in the royal family can get to the throne if they marry into the family or kill the queen, king, and their heirs. In the story, there's no king because Rhonda, the queen, murdered her husband. Events like this are common in the royal family because they're always competing for the throne. Okay, let's talk about Harp and the origins of the comic. I started writing the book a few years ago, and for some reason I named Harp. I don't know. The story was really cringe, so I decided to continue writing it cringe, but on purpose. One day when my friend was reading the book, they asked me to draw the characters, which gave me the idea to start the comic. Harp is an Uru. This is a species. However, both her mother and father are Alphas. This is a very rare outcome that scarcely happens in the Alpha families. Means Harp's naturally blonde hair and pure white skin. Her hair canonically is blonde, but I made it pink in the comic to make it more unrealistic. If you read the book, you would know it mentions Harp has an extra eye, tail, and cat ears. This is something I wrote unironically and seriously at the start of the book. I generally did not know how trash the story was. Of the book, it's also mentioned that Harp's father killed her friend and her friend's family. This is never mentioned again because I wrote that before I decided to make the story intentionally cringe. Harp's father doesn't appear much in the story and is only talked about, not seen. Harp's mother is a more prominent figure and wants Harp to be more girly. She's not poor and is quite rich. Her family are also close to the royal family, but since Harp is not an alpha, both the royal family and Harp's family do not want a marriage between her and one of the princes, hence why Rhonda reacts negatively to Brandon's love for Harp. Damien, one of the princes and as a result a love interest in the story, has a crush on Harp. He just shows it in an odd way. Brandon is also in love with Harp and is quite open about it. Adrian loves Harp as well, but doesn't really want anything serious. He's the most confusing out of the brothers, as he begins to hate Harp for seemingly no reason. Is in love with all 3 boys, yet she picks one at the end, of course. Esau, who is betrothed to Brandon, is a pixie from the Pixie Kingdom. Pixies in this world can change their size at will and possess large wings. The Alphas can turn into wolves at will, and their eyes turn red when they're angry. Their voices also change when they get angry or frustrated. They become deeper and more like a growl. As seen in the book and the comic, when nervous or scared, Uwu's Uwu. Harp eventually has kids. In the original book, Harp's children are only mentioned at the end of the story, as she has them a year and a bit later. They're also not going to be a part of the comic. Instead, they'll be characters in the possible sequel, so I'm going to talk about them now. Cadell, the main character of the possible sequel, is Harp's oldest son. He takes after his mother and is an Uwu instead of an alpha. During the sequel, he is navigating his love life, and there will likely be 5 love interests for him. I plan to write his story as well as making it into a comic. Nothing about the other 2 children are confirmed, but it's likely that Cadell will have 1 brother and 1 sister. Harp's character changes significantly after having kids, and she becomes regretful and neglectful. So, about the father, I'm not going to say who it is because that would be spoilers for the book and the comic. But he also changes from before he had kids to now. He also isn't a great father, and like Harp's father, isn't going to be very present in the sequel, but will probably be one of the main antagonists. I haven't decided what an Uwu and an alpha create, but I know I want Harp's kids to have ears, maybe not a tail though. To end the video, I'm going to talk about what happens next with the comic and the story. I'm going to continue drawing my comic and posting it on Webtoon. Then when that's done, I'll release the Google Doc with the original story to the public to read. Then I'll begin the sequel. After I finish the sequel, or while I'm working on the sequel, I'll be writing or will write a story with my sister. When we finish it, we might expand it into a comic, game, or show. Maybe.